This video comes with a very large trigger warning because it contains verbatim reading of Anita Sarkeesian's master's thesis. Why? Because it's hilarious. But be warned, unprotected watching this video may cause Bible-popping, jaw-dropping, what did she really write that ovitis? Death by eyeball-popping, permanent IQ loss, diabetes, desire to put your head in a blender, putting your head in a blender, and slow, agonizing death by mankind just cannot be that stupid wailing.
We need to reject people who are criticizing the way we do things. So, for instance, you have academics like Anita Sarkeesian, you have journalists like Lee Alexander saying, hey, there's a problem with your culture.
Yes, academic Anita Sarkeesian. But what exactly is it that makes her an academic in communications?
Oh, your playing days are over, my friend. But you can always fall back on your degree in communications. Oh, dear Lord.
I know. It's funny, Major. Lubchenko learned nothing.
Well, apparently she wrote a thesis, which she was so proud of that she deleted it off her own website. But you might be interested to know the level of research that goes into a feminist master's thesis. I wanted to explore what this meant for women's representations and the impact it has on the existing patriarchal division of gender roles.
Why are you wearing the bra and the dress?
I guess I'm really interested in semiotic entanglement and sort of loosening semioses. We have to be able to transcend the binary of
One repercussion of constantly relying on feminizing signifiers for character design is that it tends to reinforce a strict binary form of gender expression.
I don't know, that sounds really post-structural.
You just totally blew my mind right now.
Really?
Yeah, before we even start, it's all about patriarchal gender roles. Yeah, I guess that women are just too infantilized to have any say in their own gender roles at all. And then she wraps up the acknowledgements by saying, and finally, I would like to thank Jonathan McIntosh for spending countless hours watching and critically analysing television shows with me. And surprise, surprise, the woman whose master's thesis revolved around watching television has now grown up, after a little teleseminar training, of course.
Hi, my name is Anita Sarkeesian. I'm from Los Angeles, California, and my website is neonandchrome.com. And I just want to let you all know how amazing Alex's teleseminar secrets was. It really motivated me to get my own business started. In my current day job, I saw how teleseminars could change the face of your business and make a lot of money, but I didn't really understand how it worked. And I'm only 23, and I've already started my own business promoting teleseminars for small businesses around me, and it's really made a huge impact on my life.
Into a fully grown woman who can say the most ludicrous things about video games.
We must remember that games don't just entertain. Intentional or not, they always express a set of values and present us with concepts of normalcy.
Can I have some more?
I know. Every time I hear her say that...
Intentional or not, they always express a set of values and present us with concepts of normalcy.
I just get this desire to cut in some Plants vs. Zombies gameplay.
Intentional or not, they always express a set of values and present us with concepts of normalcy.
Most feminist critique isn't merely about women's issues, but it is largely concerned with social justice generally.
I make a decision to have sex, and then later on
because feminism is a social movement.
As Bell Hooks calls it, white supremacist capitalist patriarchy.
I think, in fact, Anita's work has probably attracted sexists who have no interest in video games because they can't even stand to hear conversations about feminism.
It's not just for you, Mr. Entitled. The assumption that wives should make babies instead of money is part of patriarchy. That's right. Feminists!
Yeah, that's right. Anita's feminism is the one that fights against the white supremacist capitalist patriarchy.
And they are choosing not to do anything about it, or certainly not to do enough about it.
Understand how genocide and slavery and Orientalism all work together to uphold white supremacy.
Right.
And so it's really kind of the way that I understand my work.
And I see a serious problem with that ethically and...
Okay, but let's cut through the bullshit here for a second.
Oh, if only there was someone who personified the white supremacist capitalist patriarchy for Anita to hug like daddy. Ah, Anita Sarkeesian, fighting the patriarchy. Sorry, fighting the white supremacist capitalist patriarchy, one carefully staged photo op at a time. A question I asked myself repeatedly through the process of researching this paper is, what does a female hero, and even a male hero, look like outside of patriarchy?
Rape culture is part of patriarchy. False rape accusations discredit rape victims, which reinforces rape culture, which is part of patriarchy.
It's incredibly hard to visualize. It requires imagining what a world without patriarchy would look like.
Feminists do not want to be lonely. We do not hate nice guys. The idea of certain people are inherently more valuable than other people because of superficial physical attributes is part of patriarchy.
I've heard it said that in the game of patriarchy, women are not the opposing team, they are the ball.
Anita Sarkeesian on Twitter. Mass shootings are one tragic consequence of a culture that perpetuates toxic ideas of masculinity. This is how patriarchy can harm men too.
I don't know if you're noticing a theme of patriarchy.
Yeah, you keep yelling.
Anyways, I'm not done.
From media personalities to interpersonal relationships to advertising to work and careers to poverty and capitalism more broadly. It's nearly overwhelming to think about. Well, yeah, Anita, asking a feminist to imagine what a world would look like without patriarchy is kind of like asking a faith head to imagine what a world would look like without a god.
Trust the gods, Leonidas.
I'd prefer you trusted your reason.
Your blasphemies have cost us quite enough already.
Feminists and media critics ought to stop looking at these marginalized and underrepresented groups in the media as something to merely be fixed by simply including them, and to look at the larger structures and institutions that actively work to promote patriarchy and white supremacy.
We need developers to take responsibility for their communities, right? Like, what are their games telling their community that's appropriate or not appropriate? How are their forums allowing conversations to happen or not happen, right? There's so many things, right? We could brainstorm a million ways that we could create these structural changes. And creating structural change means people have to follow those structures.
But one way that I personally deal with comments is to moderate them, because I really want to create a space where people can come and engage with feminist ideas where they don't have to risk being harassed or ridiculed.
That's right. It's a safe space where like-minded folks can hear things they already agree with from someone whose opinion they already know.
Right, so that will, in addition to what we need to do to help pressure companies to make those changes, they need to step up. So working at those companies and being like, hey, how about we do these things or suggest these ideas that will make it be, right? And the vision that I have for what games can be, these are like micro pieces of that, right? So games like Gone Home was incredibly moving. I recently replayed Papo and Yo, which just is a devastating game that it's not fun to play.
Yeah, there you have it. Modern feminism in gaming in a nutshell. Pressuring game developers to make games that are not fun to play and don't make a profit. Oh, sorry. More on why capitalism is anti-feminist later.
Of Zoe Quinn, a game developer who her game was controversial even before her ex published a salacious blog post about her because she dared to do a game with no graphics that was about depression.
But is it any wonder that feminists love to play the game Oppression Quest so much? And then, from her conclusions, we should have better representations, but in our fight for media justice, we have to push back against the social systems that maintain dominant cultural norms such as patriarchy, white supremacy, and capitalism.
So who's to blame? Kanye clearly, but also Rockefeller Records, Universal Music Group, the entire music industry, and how the market functions in general.
Our economic system favors stories that reinforce the status quo and render oppression invisible. Yeah, that's right. Our economic system renders oppression invisible, which is why the civil rights movement failed. Indeed, no one even ever knew about it, because our cultural system renders oppression invisible. But maybe the funniest thing in her master's thesis is that she's only really got one piece of data to speak of in her entire master's thesis. The only thing that she actually goes merely beyond stating opinions like there are no negative traits for men on TV at the moment. You know, like being shy, weak, having a lack of self-confidence, lack of self-control, indecisive, hysterical, submissive, cooperative. Cooperative is a negative feminine trait? Emotionally expressive is a What? Emotionally expressive is a negative feminine trait. And intuitive? What the hell? Anyway, ignoring Anita's clearly master's level scholarly appraisal of what she thinks are the gender traits currently valued on television, the only numerical analysis is the number of white people and the number of coloured people killed in the TV shows she watched with full Macintosh. And the numbers clearly show that white people and coloured people are killed off equally often. And then she goes on to completely ignore the only data in her thesis to conclude, I dream of a day when it's commonplace for televisions to have strong women who don't subscribe to patriarchal values in order to be celebrated, when people of colour and queer people are not typecast, stereotyped, and killed off more often than their white counterparts. But seriously, her conclusion is that people of colour are killed off more often than their white counterparts, which is directly contradicted by the only data presented in her thesis.
The issue of sexism in games finally had someone, not an avatar, as its spokesperson. And that's what all great social movements need. Attention from the outside world and a voice to help them humanize the problem.
Patriarchy.